Hey guys, it's Taku. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. It's the end of 2024, and I realized that for the past few months actually, I've been pretty negligent on recording my anime hauls and bringing them to you. So what I've got here is basically the fall and winter 2024, all the anime that I've picked up. So some of it even actually goes back as far as the summer, which is a bit embarrassing. It shows you how far I am really behind on it. And so there is new release stuff in here. There's also some old and thrifty finds, some used stuff. So import buys as well, a whole assortment. And I just wanted to make it all one video. So strap in. It's probably going to be a long one. I apologize in advance. And we're going to actually start off with one that I don't have the Blu-ray with me for. Let's go ahead and zoom in a bit. So this is Lupon the Third, The Classic Adventures. It's part 1. And in my attempt to watch more Lupon, it starts with the beginning. I don't have it here because it's actually at my family residence because I have watched like about half of it already. And my sister and I are working our way through it, and it is quite fun. It's old. It's definitely old. It's from the either late 60s or early 70s. I don't remember. And it's Lupon. It's classic Lupon at that. So all of the heists, all of the schemes, and it's even actually got sections that are, I believe this was animated, or not animated, sorry, directed by Hayao Miyazaki and Isao Takahata. So, oh, it says it right there. So this is those first 23 episodes of the series on 3 discs. I would love to show it to you, but I don't have it here. It does say there's an all-new remaster and English dub, and you can tell that it is like the new beloved English dub cast, so like Michelle Ruff, Tony Oliver, and the gang, Richard Epcar. So I love this cast. They really sell it for me. I don't know if I would be watching Lupon in Japanese. I really like the English cast. So there's Lupon. I would show you more, but I don't have it with me. The next one I've got is another Discotek release. In fact, this first few is all Discotek. So this is Digimon The Movies. Not gonna lie, the only reason I really picked this up was because the first 2 are the ones that Mamoru Hosoda directed. So this is Digimon Adventure, Our War Game, and then this last one, Hurricane Touchdown. And I have not seen any of these yet. I am told that you can watch the first 2 more or less without context of the series, but that third one I think is more like in the series. I don't really plan to watch Digimon now. I mean, I don't want to like knock it till I try it because I have this like affinity for these old children's kind of animations. But they've got all 3 of the posters in here, and it's a nice release. So pretty simple. And I would say more, but I haven't seen it yet. I might try to boot this up before 2024 is over, at least that first movie, just to kind of see what I'm working with. But this is the Digimon Movies. I think also the big thing about this is it got a new English dub. So for like people who are huge fans of Digimon, like that's a thing with returning actors. I'm all new to this, so it's a bit lost on me, but I'm sure I'll have a good time with it regardless. Here is another Discotek release. This is The Wonderful World of Puss in Boots. I picked this up partially because it features the Toei animation mascot character, Pero, up here as the front. But also, this is the one that Hayao Miyazaki also worked on. I think he contributed... Oh, there we go. I was like, contributed animation. So... I haven't watched it yet, so I can't really tell you anything about it, but the little clips of it that I have seen are pretty fun. And I guess I didn't show you much of the back. So it looks like it's a standard kind of 80-minute Toei film. And here's the inside. And here's the disc. So I will also try to watch this one, I think, before the year closes out. But I can't really say too much on it otherwise. These are those Miyazaki releases that I'm just kind of building in so I have a little bit more of that history in my collection. So I don't, in terms of like how well this holds up, who knows? We'll find out soon. The next one I've got is a Discotek release. I'm so excited for this one. This was actually the last one in this haul to arrive here today. It arrived literally yesterday. And this is Magic Knight Ray Earth. This is the Memorial Collection. And when I heard that they were doing a Ray Earth like reboot, I immediately was like, okay, it's time to actually start Ray Earth. I knew it's got character designs and original story. The manga was written by Clamp. So it's always been in the background. Like, it's always been something I wanted to get around to. And then when they announced a 2025 kind of reboot series, I said, it's time. It's time to jump into it. So I watched the first season, which is the first 20 of this 50-ish episode series. And I love it so much. I'm so in love with these characters. I love Umi and Fu and just the whole gang. They're just... they're so iconic for a reason. Hikaru, yeah, the main character. I think Fu's my favorite. Umi would normally be like the character I gravitate towards the most. I really like those high and mighty characters that are actually, you know, they've got some psychological weaknesses. But I think I like Fu. I like her sweetness. I think she's so kind. She's very intelligent and always well spoken too. Kind of envious of that. She's always able to like say the exact words that the group needs to hear. So this is the inside with all of the discs. And I'm working my way through season 2 right now. I think I'm like 7 or 8 episodes in. So I've seen like over half of this. And I was streaming the first season. And then when I realized that this is something I do want in my home library, I went ahead and got the Blu-ray. So yeah, jump on Ray Earth if you're not on it yet. It's classic magical girl series. And there's giant robots in it. Which is actually something I didn't know anything about. It's quite a pleasant surprise. So I think the other thing I like about it is the power, as their powers change, their outfits also change. So there's a lot of details that are really cool. This next one is an NIS America release. And actually, I might have been the person who bought like the very last one that was available on the Crunchyroll store before it went out of print, and now you can only get it like on select sites because they're no longer printing this. NIS is no longer doing anime. They've been out of it for a while actually. So this is kind of the last of their inventory. I grew up with one VHS tape for Cardcaptor Sakura, and I know there's also different dubs of this. So it's the one where he sounds like this little character. I can't even remember his name now. But he sounds like a smoker. It's my favorite thing. I love it. We would all like draw little cards. I remember like we'd take note cards and then draw like the different cloud cards on them and then play silly games with it growing up with our very limited knowledge of the series. If I remember correctly, the discs here are also kind of like not set in. So I have to be careful with this one. They're really pretty discs. There we go. Yeah, it's gonna fall out. So, but I'm excited to start this and actually finish it and learn the whole story of Cardcaptor Sakura, because there are like, well, how many episodes are here? 70 episodes, so that's quite a bit. Here was the other one. It's a bit of a loose case here, but the discs have this pretty kind of the Clow summoning thing. Oh gosh, I have to be so careful with this set because it will like. The discs are so loose. But here's the whole season of Cardcaptor Sakura. And not only that, but I went ahead and picked up some other parts of Cardcaptor Sakura while I was just going through all of it. It's kind of magical girl season post Sailor Moon finishing. More on that here in a sec. But this is the Cardcaptor Sakura movie. This is also from Discotek. It is the first film of 2. And if I remember correctly, I don't remember if this is actually a summary, like a very quick flash summary of the series, or if it is the, like the sequel, like the actual end of it. I don't remember. I haven't seen it. And it's something I did want to start soon. I don't know how quickly I'll get to it this winter, or if I want to do it as a spring watch. But there is the movie. And regarding all of these, because I thought Cardcaptor Sakura does have an interesting like dub history. I couldn't tell you which English dubs are on this. I don't even know if I would watch it in English now. And then here is the second movie, the sealed card. Oh, with Xiaodan Li on it. Ah, I love these characters. They're so pretty too. These characters are the prettiest of the bunch. And there's the back. I like how the releases are at least very consistent. They look nice on a shelf together for sure. And then the very last one that I have not opened is the Cardcaptor Sakura sequel that was released. So this is Cardcaptor Sakura Clear Card. It started in like 2017 or something like that. This is actually the second set of 2, and they did release, Funimation I think at the time did release the first and the second, and then a complete set. But this was only like $6 on the Crunchyroll store, and I wanted to get it before it was actually gone because part 1 is out of print and the complete season is also out of print. So I had to settle for part 2 of this season. I haven't even opened it because if I get lucky and get the complete set, then I can get rid of this one. But the artwork on it is really pretty. I like everything that I see. And Clear Card is the sequel to the original. So I almost have a maxed out Sakura collection. Okay, we're going to dip for a second into some Chinese animation that I've just been loving so much lately. This was all stuff I picked up over the summer, recorded the video, did not like the video, and then I just never got around to hauling these again. So if some of these you have seen already, I'm sorry. This is White Snake, though, from GKIDS. And White Snake tells the story of Blanca and Swen. It's kind of like a love story where she is the White Snake and he is a human and they fall in love. And of course, you know, she's cursed with this incredible power. And it's just a love story, and the animation and the music, and this is a kind of a genre of like film that I've been really rocking with. And it seems like the Chinese animation itch always hits around winter for some reason. I have no idea why, but I just fall in love with these movies. Oh, I did take the DVD out because it goes in my DVD collection. If you're familiar with that, otherwise I don't want to explain. But it's a great movie about these legends. I don't know what legends they're actually pulling on. I don't know if these are original. I don't know if these are like Chinese legends and stories that they are animating. I think they are. So I think there is like kind of a lore and a history to this love story. But it's really good. The sequel, Green Snake, is unlike any sequel I've ever seen. It takes everything you knew about this story. Like, this is such a traditional like romance story, and I love it. And then Green Snake is like everything you knew about this one, takes it up a notch. It's incredible. I love it. And then supposedly there's a third one that just came out, so I'll have to check that out. But there's no release for Green Snake right now. The next one I have here is Junga. This is the Ultimate Warrior Junga. And this was like the first one, I think, of these movies to kind of make it, I think, to the US. No, this is the second one. Sorry. I'm going in backwards release order because that's how they were in my stack. This one tells the story of a powerful warrior who is he's kind of tasked with a mission by the heavens to go out and slay this demonic fox type character. But the fox is housed within the body of a young girl. So they kind of go on a journey. A lot of battles with kind of internal demons and legendary figures. It's all about recreating these legendary myths for a modern audience, and I'm so here for it. So, but I think of the films, this might have been my least favorite, which is kind of crazy because it's a lot of people's favorite. I loved Green Snake. I mean, I love Green Snake and White Snake. I love that story. This other one here is Nuda. So this one is like the first one that made it out into US audiences. This has kind of been like the one that everyone was familiar with when they said like the US is getting more of these like Chinese animations. And this film is about the legend of the boy Nuda. And this one for sure pulls on the original like legend or inspiration of Nuda. He is a child born with kind of a cursed, overwhelming power that is fated to destroy the world. And so this is about the people, or specifically this other character, who rises against the test to defeat him or seal him away. It's tragedy, it's fate, It's really good. It actually moved me to tears by the end, because if you watch the movie, Nacha in his like child form is so annoying. Like, they do a really good job at portraying that fact that he is kind of this annoying little demon child. And but then when you watch the movie and you get to the end, and it's like, you know, he's fated to die, because that's how the story goes. Oh, it gets kind of sad. It really pulled on the heartstrings. So if you are wanting more, it looks like I did not take out the DVD, which I need to do. But if you are wanting more of these, again, Chinese animations, and you're wanting to start with something that pulls on like that Journey to the West type of character and epic grand scaling, start with this one, because this one also has like more, it has like a little universe within it. So like Jiangxia, I think, is set in the same universe as this one. So different studios also. So like I think they're from the same studio. Okay, we're back out now. This is gonna start a couple of odds and ends of films. Some of them are used, some of them are not. So this one was brand new. This is My Miracle, and this is from the same director of In This Corner of the World, which, when I look back on it, is one of those movies that really launched me into like collecting anime movies specifically. I used to really only do series and enjoy movies as a side thing. You know, the typical, like, I loved the Hosoda movies, Miyazaki movies, anything from Studio Ghibli, anything from Makoto Shinkai. But then after I watched In This Corner of the World, I really started going on a movie craze. So yes, directed by Sunao Katabuchi. And this one is about a girl. She has a incredible imagination. She is also like this very surprisingly well read. Her grandpa would tell her about life 1,000 years ago, you know, pre-Edo period, farmers in the field, out in this rural kind of pastoral area. And in her mind, as she goes about her day-to-day charms as an elementary schooler, she's imagining these people from long ago as she's strolling side by side with them. And this new girl with the paler skin, she moves in from Tokyo, and she has a hard time fitting in because she's a city girl out in the country. And so part of this, the first half of the story, is really about how these two kind of integrate into the classroom. And then the rest of it is a lot of just small episodes and snippets from their youth. The kids go through typical, let children be children, playing outside kind of a thing. Fascination with local people, elders, bugs, animals, fields, scary buildings. It goes through the whole kind of gambit of youth. And I really enjoyed this story for what it was. It's kind of just a snapshot of their lives. And it was not too tragic, which is another thing I really appreciated. I thought this was going to be like a gut-wrenching movie. Not at all. It was very sweet. So if you're wanting something lighthearted with a little bit of history and a little bit of childlike wonder, check out My Miracle. The next one I have is an interesting movie. Probably should have done this one after the Chinese animation ones, because it kind of fits into that bill of foreign projects. But this is The Red Turtle. I am not going to lie, I only really picked this up to continue going through films within the Ghibli space. So Ghibli projects and all those kinds of things. But then when I watched this movie, I was actually very shocked of how much I enjoyed it. It is a mostly, if not completely, silent movie. So the character has expressions and, grunts and other gestures, but there's not actually like spoken dialogue. Instead, you're watching this slow romance. And I say romance not in like the traditional sense, but like a romance of the red turtle and this guy who washes up on an abandoned island. And every time he tries to escape, the red turtle blocks his path. Fascinating little story. I really enjoyed it. It kept me hooked the entire time. I will say it is kind of a long movie, or it felt like a long movie. But again, I enjoyed it. It was so, I guess, unpredictable in a way. So, The Red Turtle. Check it out if you haven't watched it. I put it off for years, and I'm glad now that I was able to see it for the first time. in the effort to continue patching up holes in the collection, this is Satoshi Kon's Paranoia Agent. This is the series released by Funimation when they were able to rescue it for us. And oh my god, this series, I watched it. I watched it a few years ago. And if I'm not gonna, I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys, I don't remember a lot of it. It was a fever dream. It's very psychological. It's slow moving and then suspenseful, and then back to slow moving and then suspenseful. It oscillates like crazy. It has that early 2000s, how do I describe it? It's got that early 2000s like pandering feel where they're really going for like evoking a vibe over a certain story or character, traditional like development and traditional dialogue. It goes for more of an atmosphere, but it's under the sharp direction of Satoshi Kon. So it's one that as you watch, you do pay attention to, and there are clues strewn along through this kind of long, or not long, it's a short 13 episode mystery series centered around this boy who is named Little Slugger, or called Little Slugger, and he's tied to a series of crimes within the city. So interesting, disturbing at times, but really thought-provoking. I liked this a lot. It is exactly what you would expect from a Satoshi Kon series, and unfortunately it was the only one he ever got to give us. So check it out if you can find a copy floating out there. I know it's out of print. All right, here is another one that I picked up, I think used. So this continues the summer anime that I was picking up and then just never showed. This is Tekkon Conrete, and I know nothing about it. I know nothing about this movie, aside from the fact that it is consistently recommended within the realm of movies that I do like. So it looks like it's from 2006 or 2007. I know that it's a wild little ride with wacky character designs. I want to get closer to those, but it's kind of hard to see. And I couldn't tell you more. I really couldn't. So when I watch this, I'll know more. And our next one, I reversed the cover because I hate the cover so much. Any guesses on what this is? If you guessed Mamoru Oshii's The Sky Crawlers, you are correct. Has no spine label, but that's okay because I do not like the inside. This is The Sky Crawlers on Blu-ray. Another one from kind of just me collecting older films that I've missed. I actually used to own this. I owned The Sky Crawlers because, partially because it was a Mamoru Oshii story, but I also just wanted to have more Kenji Kawai music to listen to because the soundtrack is really good for this one. And so it was the soundtrack that attracted me first. So I bought the movie, and then I never actually ended up watching it, and I thought to myself, I don't think I'm ever going to watch it. So I sold it with the idea that if I wanted to watch it again, I could always find it on the market. And lo and behold, 4 or 5 years later, we're here now, and I have seen it. Very good movie. Of course, is an incredible little movie. Thought-provoking, a movie that evokes Oedipus, it evokes world wars, it evokes militarism and the rise of mass production. It's very good. It's very good. Also very atmospheric, which is to be expected of an Oshii film. I think this similar story, which I think is based off of a novel technically, could be wrong, but in the hands of any other director, totally different result. So I'm glad with what I got. More movies from this summer. This is Osamu Tezuka's Metropolis, another one that I did own at one time, and I owned it with the slipcover too. And then I sold it, and now I got it again 4 or 5 years later. I was able to watch this one, and oh my god, there is jazz audio. Like, I don't know the time periods for this, but it's a lot of that like industrial era jazz music, so not like modern jazz, but very industrial, given obviously the name of the show. And I had sent some of the audio to my siblings, and I'm like, when I describe me being poor, it's this music. And it's straight up like city slums It's like dirty New York City. I love the energy of the movie. The execution of a lot of it is a little, there's just a lot going on in it sometimes. Sometimes it's like way too much. I think in its quiet moments, it's actually better than its action-packed scenes. It is a fascinating blend of CG and 2D animation. And the CG, I don't know. It's okay. So the whole story of this one is about a boy who comes across this girl who is a project. She's a kind of like a cyborg or fake human. And it's about him protecting her as she is at the center of a project to power Metropolis, to power this ziggurat in the center of the city, which I guess the city's Metropolis. And so there's a bunch of comments on reusable and non-reusable energy sources, on the toll that energy and the race for energy at the end of the day is still a rich man's game. It's not actually like a lot of us are benefiting from us. So a lot of timeless messages. The execution is okay. Definitely epic in skill as it goes along, and I like the quiet moments more. This one is Steamboy. Similar kind of comments that I have for it. I'm in, I guess, my war period with these movies. So this is from the director of Akira, and it is the story of this boy who is kind of like a child genius. It runs in the family because his dad and granddad are also incredibly, they're on the cusp of science. And it's pulling on that, like a London exhibition. It says Victorian London, so a lot of turn of the century anxieties with energy, with steam, and as given the title, he's kind of at the center of this story where his dad and granddad's power is being used for evil. It's science is being used for evil, and he must stand and oppose it because there is good that can come from it. Science can be a beautiful thing. In the right hands. And also science can be fun, and if you like these kinds of movies where the message is pretty classic like that, then you'll find yourself with this classic adventure. This postcard inclusion is also kind of interesting. I will say a couple of controversial takes. Well, maybe not controversial per se. This is one of the longest movies I've ever watched. Like, I sat here like looking at the timer being like, okay, how long is this thing? I think it's only a couple hours. Yeah, it's only a couple hours, but it definitely feels like it takes forever to go through. Interestingly enough, though, I think I like it more than Akira. So take that for what you will. Steamboy is an interesting product of its time, and one where I do think the CG in that one holds up a lot better. Oh yeah, we're going through a lot of these 2000s. It seems like that's where I'm at these days. This is Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex, Solid State Society, the movie. And I picked this up over the summer, like a lot of these, and I got this one secondhand, so it's used. A couple of interesting things behind this. One, it's Steelbook. I actually don't like Steelbook releases, but this one was worth picking up because it did come with, looks like the film on Blu-ray. And this is I don't want to pull it out, but this is Yoko Kanno's soundtrack CD for the film. So that was cool. This was worth having just for this. And if I remember actually, the reason I picked this up is because my Standalone Complex DVDs are DVD sized, and I am a petty collector, and I wanted them all to fit. So I took my Solid State Society Blu-ray disc, put it in here, took out the DVD, left the soundtrack, I guess, and now all of my, yes, because it is just a DVD set. But now all of my Ghost in the Shell releases match nicely. So I'm really happy about that. My, what's it called? Standalone Complex sets all match. And that's the only reason I really picked this up. It was pretty cheap to get used. But yeah, there's that. Go watch Ghost in the Shell. I've talked about it numerous times. Another one from Time Traveling to the Past. This is Princess Tutu on Blu-ray. This is all 26 episodes. It's one of Sentai's many re-release of this set. And this one actually features the best art, in my opinion. So, This I got to as an upskill of my DVD release. Nothing wrong with it aside from I just wanted the Blu-ray. And the story of this one is there is a this boy is kind of like weak and fragile but really pretty, and this girl who is I don't know how to describe her. She's a girl. She's got a lot of energy. She's a bit scatterbrained. But in the very first episode, and I can only say this because of the first episode, she sees him falling from a building and wants to save his life. She pulls on the magic of Princess Tutu that is given to her, and now she can transform. It's kind of a magical girl series, but it has a lot of musical elements to it. From the very first episode, there's a lot of classical music. And of course, classical music within every score carries its own stories. So I'm excited to watch this one this winter. I'm continuing it. I'm a couple episodes in, which is why I partially don't know too much about it. But I like it. I really do. And again, I bought the DVD so many years ago, just never watched it. Now I own the Blu-ray, and so it's time that I continue Princess Tutu in my effort to continue watching Magical Girl series. Because that's where we're at right now. Now we're getting into some newer releases, or new-ish, I should say, because technically this has been around for a while. This is SSSS Dino Zenon. It's part of the Gridman universe. Again, with these titles, I'm a bit saddened because the spine of Gridman has Gridman on it, and then the spine of Dino Zenon has one of the characters on it, which is kind of sad. So, Galma. Yeah. And Gridman was like basically my anime of the year when it came out. It was that and Run with the Wind. They were cutthroat. And so the fact that this has Gridman is now a universe within itself is the most exciting thing for me. I think this is some of the best stuff to come out of Trigger, certainly since Kill la Kill. And I am living for every single Gridman universe thing. I love all of it. Gridman pulls on a lot of it's under the guise of like mecha, and this one feels more mecha for sure than any of the others, but it's leaning on a lot of nostalgia from tokusatsu. Oh my gosh, our IP, if you want this you can have it, but it doesn't exist anymore. It's pulling on a lot of tokusatsu inspirations. So the fact that monsters arise from the middle of nowhere and are kaiju, and then there is always a hero to stop the monsters. Of course, at the cost of always destroying the city. That's like the tokusatsu genre. And the CG that's used in this is like corny sometimes, but that's like the best part of it. Like this one it's so intentionally done. And I say the same thing about Gridman too. I think atmospherically they're both very similar. There definitely feels like the same universe. So if you liked Gridman, you'll probably like Dino Zenon just as much. It kind of depends on your character focus, whether you like the 3 characters from Gridman or this much larger ensemble in Dino Zenon. I think I'm more of a Gridman stan, but Dino Zenon will keep you on your toes. So check it out. Again, more Gridman universe is just better for all of us. This is a release that, again, is not new, but it's new to my collection. This is The Stranger by the Shore, Les Étrangers de la Plague, and I'm so happy to have this. So the manga was localized as Seaside Stranger, but I like Stranger by the Shore as a title so much more. It sounds so much more romantic. I love Mio and Shun, who are the 2 characters. I'm so excited by this. But I told myself I wanted to get this as cheaply as I could, I guess. I always have a philosophy where I don't want to spend an arm and a leg for my collection, but I want it to be worth an arm and a leg, if that makes sense. So I'm a real big bargain hunter, and I get that from my mom for sure. But this is an adaptation of the first volume of Kikana's BL manga, Stranger by the Shore. Oh, and I was so happy. I can't believe this got the treatment that it did, by the way. I would have been so happy with just a standard Blu-ray release, which it actually never got. This is like the only release for it. So it's the one that it's either this or nothing. There is like a whole 100-page booklet with it, and I wish my lighting was better because then I could show you it in more detail. But look at everything that's in it. Character designs, interviews, storyboards, keyframes, art, even a discussion with recording dialogue and planning illustrations, with this being an adaptation. And I like it because the mangaka, Kikana, was so heavily involved with the project from what I can understand. And it shows so much. Like, this is just a 45-minute or 1 hour OVA movie short film thing, just as an adaptation of that first volume. But that first volume in alone could be standalone. And that's actually how Seaside Stranger started. It was just a short standalone volume that a sequel was begged for. And now the series has like 6 or 7 volumes to it. And I've read all of them. I love it. I love Seaside Stranger. What drew me first is Kikana's character designs. This mangaka has done character design work for other movies. I'm thinking of Yasuhiro Yoshiura's it was the sing song one with the robot. Forgetting. Sing a Bit of Harmony. I think that's what it was localized as. It was a very cute movie, but the character design was done by this person as well. And so anything that Kikana touches turns to gold and is worth having. So, oh my gosh, I want to fall in love with this all over again. I wish I could just wipe my brain sometimes and re-experience the joys and the frustrations of these characters. I love them so much. By the way, oh my god, this is so funny. Shun bottoming is the name of this panel sketch or whatever. Crazy. It's so unhinged. I just love this. And again, the fact that it got this treatment for it with a whole... Oh, this makes me sad. The whole limited edition thing. It's a nice piece to have. I would have been so fine with just a Blu-ray. And it's very odd that this is the only way to own it. So it's not out of print yet, but there definitely were times where I was worried it was going out of print. So pick this up if you haven't. Pick up the first volume of Seaside Stranger from Seven Seas and see if you like it. It's a moving island story. I never even talked about what the story's about. But it's about this guy who, he's a struggling author. He moves out into the middle of nowhere, an island, to kind of recuperate because I think his aunt lives out there. There's a whole plot with that and why he's out here. But he runs into this boy, and this boy at the time I think is like a middle schooler, high schooler. Meanwhile, Shun, the main character, is like in his 20s. And so a couple years pass, and they see each other again, and now he's kind of age, I guess. It's an interesting way to go about the age gap. And he's kind of obsessed with him. But Shun, being Shun, is wishy-washy on everything in his life, and he doesn't know how much to pursue personal happiness over professional happiness, how much to pursue just like continuing to kind of like put up fights with his like family dynamics back home. There's a lot going on. Meanwhile, Mio is just here for the ride as the best kind of wingman you could ever want. I just love this story so much. It's very good. It's very cute. So there's that. And now we're going to flip the page just a little bit because here is the Attack on Titan final season limited edition box. Oh my gosh, the whiplash is crazy. Also a new release. This one is actually very new. It's a giant. I don't really love the artwork that was used on it. I kind of wish they kept to the wall motif, but they did not. So here you can see actually this is the satisfying reveal, ta-da, of part 1, part 2, and then part 3, or the final chapters of Attack on Titan's Marley arc. So this is the end of Attack on Titan. The box actually only comes with, it actually only comes with the first 2. I mean, sorry, the last one. I just put the first 2 in there already to show you. I've been collecting these though for so long. Ooh, ruined that. been collecting these for so long. I'm kind of indebted to them. It was just something that, like, I really liked Attack on Titan as it went along, especially those first few seasons. And then when it hit Marley, I kind of fell off. I think a lot of people did, just because tonally, subject-wise, like, everything just changed. Fun Easter egg, by the way. There is a typo here. Let's see. From the moment I was born, I was always, or there was always a stifling wall before me. Fiery water, lands of ice, sandy snowfields. It's a quote, but the word there is missing. So I'm like, Crunchyroll, quality control, what's going on? But you get the first one, and then you kind of just, like, have to keep going. And so I have, like, been collecting this for literal years. By the way, this cover, stunning. It reminds me of the Pablo Picasso paint, the mural that's, like, really large. It's like the kind of, like, Suffering of War or something like that. I don't remember what it's called. Traumatized me as a kid, by the way. So the fact that this is kind of pulling on that same grayscale horrors of war with just the silent expressions, stunning. But, you reach a point where you're kind of just collecting it to continue the collection. And so I didn't know how I was just glad, I guess, that this finally done. But the more I do look back on the finale of Attack on Titan, the more I am really satisfied with it. I think just immediately I was not too sold on it. I don't know. I was, but I wasn't. Like, I knew that I was like, oh, this is really good. They're onto something with this. But took me a bit to get there. Took me a while. And so these are the boxes. I don't know how long I will be holding on to all of these. It's not like Sailor Moon where it's something, I'm 100% like wanting to keep these on my shelf, even though they take up a lot of space. Because, yeah, you just, you sign up to do this, and then you just gotta kind of keep going. So with it being so long in the making and it finally being complete, I feel like it would just be a shame to, like, get rid of them. I don't know. Especially because they're already, like, in the process of re-releasing sets with the wall look on them. And I know I want to own Attack on Titan. I just don't know what capacity I need to own it. Because, trust me, having, like, 7 or 8 of these things takes up a lot of space. This, though, was worth it. So this is the final season art book. It's all of the final season. So they were really holding back on a lot of materials. This thing is just stuffed with information. So it's got a lot of interviews. And really all of these, like, Attack on Titan sets are phenomenal with what they include. If extras like this, like, interviews are my favorite thing. If it's not a soundtrack, give me an interview. Those are my favorite. Oh, Attack on Titan. I'm so glad that it's done. If only because now I can't be spoiled by it. But man, there is a lot happening in it, and I still have not rewatched the last part to this day. Warhammer Titan was so swaggy, though. I love that. Stay safe. What a funny warning to leave. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. I know it's good. I actually know it's really great. It's just immediately what to feel on it. Not sure. I like it. Obviously, I would not have bought this if I, like, didn't love it. I love these, by the way. Kind of wish they had done something like that. Or maybe just done this for the box. I don't know. I didn't really like the house for the box, though. That's a shame. R.I.P. So, it's over. It's done. There's the word there, so you know that I'm not messing with you. I'm happy that it's over. I'm happy that it's done, and that this is kind of the collection I get to keep. Now I'm going to put you off to the side for my last big thing that I wanted to show you, and it is quite large. This is what prompted me on my whole journey through magical girl history. So I finished Sailor Moon Cosmos, which is the last set of 2 films that, like, ends the Sailor Moon reboot that's been in the process for like 10 years. because Toei is cheap. But anyway, this is the first import of Eternal. So these are the two movies that come before. It's the remake of the fourth season, in other words, as two movies. And this is the import because there is no current US release. It is locked in Netflix hell. Who knows if we'll ever see it? I'm sure we will, because it is, I mean, Viz has like released all of them. And Viz has also released shows like Castlevania that originate from Netflix. So I know it's going to get a release. This is why I wanted it though. The soundtrack. Because you can't buy this soundtrack by itself yet. They're going to release it immediately when I'm done. But look at this. Oh, it's fabulous. What an incredibly beautiful release. I'll give it that. So I'm not going to go through every part of this because we would actually be here forever. There is this stunning little art book though, and with it being in Japanese, you kind of just admire it for the character art, which is something I can do for Sailor Moon. I loved Sailor Moon. I have a deep relation to it, stemming all the way back from before I knew what anime was, like a lot of people who do Sailor Moon. And to finally see how like everything ends, because I've watched all 5 seasons now. I watched Stars. I watched all of the Crystal reboot, more or less that one as it was coming out. And with Cosmos finally being released on Netflix, I watched it. And just to know that that's how Sailor Moon ends, it's just, oh my gosh, what an incredible story. Like, we don't talk about Sailor Moon enough for its story alone and for what it does. I want to get these a little closer. So this is actually the movie on Blu-ray and the movie part 2. This is why it's in this haul. And this is a Japanese like music video from the, I think it's Canon CD that I bought separately. And I just put it in here to take up some more space, I guess. Because I took the soundtracks and they're in my soundtrack case. I'll have to show you guys the update on that because I own like all the Sailor Moon music now. But this set is just really beautiful. I'm trying to get it closer, but my microphone is like right here. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And then I want to show you the other one. Because yeah, this is what prompted me to start. I mean, and that's what it does is I finished this. And I guess I have so much respect. This sounds so weird, but it's like so much respect for like the experiences of the characters in this series. Like just throughout all of it. When you finish, if you know what I mean, like you finish Sailor Moon Cosmos and it has you reflecting on every villain, every series, every hero that shows up in it from all past, and then it starts making you think about magical girl series more broadly, and what does it mean? What does it mean to be a magical girl? What does it mean to be a hero to people? What does it mean to be a hero to yourself? And that's what I really like about Cosmos, because Sailor Moon is who everyone can count on to save the day. Everyone can count on Sailor Moon. And the movie kind of addresses, well, who does Sailor Moon rely on, right? Who is Sailor Moon's hero? And I don't mean just the fact that she has the Guardians there to save her. It's singularly, who can Sailor Moon rely on? And it's just a very good movie. Very different from Stars, the classic, I guess, 90s. I think it still would be 90s Sailor Moon. Different ending. They take the same characters, though, so that was interesting. But Cosmos is it. This is, oh my gosh. It's an incredible movie. Whoops. These discs are also so beautiful. And I've put some of it in. There's no subtitles with this release. There's no subtitles with either of them. So I really did just buy it primarily for the soundtrack. But I did plug this in and watch some of my favorite bits on Blu-ray. This is another Japanese music video from the soundtrack that I just put here. Because there'd be 2 soundtrack CDs. That completes this big, incredible haul. I think now if ever I meet Sailor Moon people who've been in it, I would want them to sign this, because it's just got all the characters on it. But guys, let me know what you think about any of the releases that I got. I can bring some of them back on screen. Very soon there's going to be a manga haul. There's not much manga that I've actually collected even throughout the year because I'm trying to read a bunch of what I have. But if you have any thoughts on these movies or series, any thoughts on things that aren't anime, like some of my Chinese movies, let me know. Tell me about it in the comments. Let's see if I can fit all of you on screen. There we go. So this is the, I guess, remainder of summer, all of fall, and most of winter. I will come back hopefully sooner with the next update, although I don't know what's going to be in it because this is a lot. This is a lot for me. So guys, thank you so much for watching this. Let me know again your thoughts on this stuff, and I will see you next time.